drunk. They're just different, though. Eh.
You know, it's funny. I was upstairs watching this episode, and I'm in a different spot, different computer than usual because I'm trying to hurry to get on to see you guys before you ended it. Uh, and I was up there watching this, thoroughly enjoying it, and then I kid you not, I thought to myself, "Huh, this is really cool. I like this episode. I can't wait to listen to all the Star Trek fans hate on it." And now, surprisingly, though, I knew Zam for sure wouldn't like it. Cheeto, I thought you would, and Mage, I have a hard time guessing ahead of
Actually,
time what you're gonna what you're gonna think of it, but uh, I knew for sure. I was like, yeah, Zam's not gonna like it. Cheeto will like it. I'm not
Mhm.
sure about Rage. I knew Rick B wasn't gonna like it. The motherfucker doesn't like anything. But I'm actually surprised, Cheeto, that you also didn't like it. This
Like,
was awesome. It was from start
yeah,
to finish. It was funny.
yeah.
It was great. The music,
man, it was about as funny as
everything.
fucking stub. It was about as funny as stubbing your toe. The humor was
I'll
awful, man.
You guys are killing me.
As I said,
I'll
like
give you it that it was a good episode of TV, but it wasn't a good episode of Star Trek to me, at least. That's my take.
Do they have to be mutually
well.
exclusive?
No, but it needs to be at least some sort of a blend of the two. It needs to be good at being Star Trek and at being a TV episode.
Okay, so let me ask you this:
uh,
What is your? How do
Okay.
we define Star Trek? Because I think the definition of Star
See,
Trek is
is
different, and
very
it's different for everybody.
it is, and that it's hard to define it other than it's just it
I'm,
at its
I think
core it had that hopeful message to it. That's true, but it was missing some of the core. Like there were plenty of times where it could have been more sci-fi than
You
it
don't need.
was comedic.
Okay.
no, Jefferson. My problem with this episode is that it's trying to tell you that this is the comedy episode, and we're going to try and be funny and humorous and stuff. And in a way, it's trying to almost force its quirky, humorous on you without it necessarily being clever and funny. A sci-fi show like this, Star Trek, needs to have very intelligent, clever, dry humor. And the humor in this is just so stupid. It's not intelligent whatsoever. I mean, I told the guys there were a couple of moments here and there that made me laugh, like Spock saying that his room was untidy even though it was spotless. That made that it got a little chuckle out of me, little things like that. But overall, Leon doing her stupidness and Uhura acting like a princess and everything, and like the dynamic between Ortega and Scotty not even remotely recently resembling James Doohan Scotty whatsoever.
Is it a
It's
lookalike
yeah.
contest? Is that what we're looking for?
No. I'm talking personality.
Okay.
And don't give me the arc shit. He should have elements of his trait, a personality trait of who he is already, without having to develop it. It should be there within him because that's who he is as a person. But he's not remotely like that at all. He doesn't remind me of James Doohan whatsoever. But regardless, just on this episode alone, it wasn't very clever. It wasn't. The humor itself wasn't good enough, and like I said, it's copying something that's been done before so much better in The Hangover. It didn't even come close to it.
So I just want to throw out there that why is Kirk still on the always on the Enterprise? Like, are they still on their way back to the Farragut from last episode? Like, he's like, oh, I just happen to be on. I'm like, I just happen to be on the planet. I'm like, just say you're still on the ship. Like, just say you're still on the ship from.
Why invent a secondary plot contrivance when the episode had so many plot contrivances already?
We're not meeting up with the Farragut for 3 more weeks, so I'm still here. Hey, because he was on it. He was with them last week. And then the other thing is,
engineer.
Shit, I just lost it. God damn it! No, I had a good one and I lost it. All right, move on.
Okay, so we brought up Uhura. How about Una singing "Total Eclipse of the Heart" in Klingon?
Yeah, but why is she singing it in fucking Alien? Why is she not singing in English? Because they got
that was
universal
fine. I thought
translator.
that was
everything. The jokes, everything's better in the original Klingon. It was memeing on the community's joke.
I don't
So-
get it. Maybe, but it's an English song. Like, sorry, it's an American song. They sung in English initially. I don't know.
Oh, whatever, Rick B. Shut up.
Shut up. Yeah. Okay, so what you're telling me you're looking for is you're looking for week to week an exact impersonation of the characters that we saw from the 60s. You want conference room discussions, sitting at a table, thoughtful things, dry humor. I mean, so here's the thing: they're not supposed to be the exact people that they're playing, because one, this isn't the Prime universe. It's the First Contact universe. It's a different timeline, different universe. Even if it wasn't, okay, so let's just pretend that it really is the exact timeline, universe, whatever it is, and it's not. But let's just say it was. The way Scotty is acting and behaving now, and you're comparing it to, well, how we know him when he is, 5 years from now. Again, that's the thing, is people and personalities can change a lot. The Scotty that we're seeing right now, what this season takes place in, what, 2260, 2261, and when we first saw Scotty was 2266 or 67, somewhere around there. So you're saying that this person and these people are all supposed to be a homogenous personalities and character types throughout the majority, most of their.
You're doing me a
their
disservice.
life.
You're doing me a disservice, Jefferson. I've not said this about. I think Kirk is reasonably well done. I think Uhura's done. Spock is. They have elements about them that remind me of the original the characters played by the previous actors. But this version of Scotty, like, there's nothing about him. Like, James Doohan Scotty is an outgoing, headstrong, ass-kicking, drinking engineer. This particular Scotty here is reserved in his shell to a degree. Very prone to being pissed off over fucking how Ortega flies a ship. There's nothing about him that reminds me of James Doohan whatsoever. Even when it came to drinking earlier in the previous episodes, he wasn't even into that too much. The only thing about him and Scotty, him and Doohan, is that they're both Scottish. Other than that, there's not much similarity.
Doohan's not Scottish.
They're
No, I know
They're
Doohan's not
Canadian.
Scottish. I'm saying the character.
Their depictions of the character are separated by a good 5-6 years.
Mate, we're talking about. I was there 5-6 years ago, and 5-6 years ago before that, and 5-6 years ago before that. There were still elements of me that is still me today. I don't just all of a sudden 180 myself.
I can attest to that. I've known Zam for almost 20 years now. Okay,
Yeah,
there are elements to Zam.
But I'm just saying, like, you're talking about a whole 180 of a character change here, Jefferson. There's nothing about him right now.
90 degrees, all right, maybe 87.
No, 180. Yeah, this guy is so in his fucking shell. Yeah, I keep calling him our Scotty. Doohan Scotty. I keep calling him that. But that guy, he would fucking step down from anybody. And like I said, he likes to have a drink, and he's very jovial, and he gets along with people, and all of this sort of shit. This particular Scotty, like, he's just sitting in the corner like a fucking black cat in the room full of people, just minding his own fucking business. Like, there's nothing about him that it makes me think, yeah, you're going to end up being Doohan, you know what I mean, or remotely like him, you know what I mean. There's nothing about him at all. Like, he needs to have a bit more of a personality. Be involved with more people. Have a fucking drink, mate. Jesus Christ, you're Scottish. Be that stereotype. Have a fucking drink. Something
Star
along
Trek
those
does
lines.
Stereotypes very well. I'm looking at the Irish.
I don't know. I'm
Oh,
just
man.
I'm just saying that there's certainly, even if you've known me my whole life, you could definitely say that yes, there can be a 5 or 6 year block where you could say, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It just
Well,
Like, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying is that his portrayal is very much different. However, I take it as there's several years before.
Well, he's going to be a totally different human being. Like, nothing like he was before. He's gonna, okay, I'm
Well,
going to get rid of this personality and put a new fucking personality on my head. Like, what the fuck? You know, like, he needs to be this person to a degree. Yeah, he might have some gradual changes here and there, but he's not even remotely like what he should be end up being. You know, not even remotely. You
all
know,
right.
and
Well,
that's
I
what-
mean,
yeah.
I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle of you two about this. I think that Scotty does fine. Like I see your point where you're like, it's not the original Scotty. It, and that's fine. Like, again, I also see Jefferson's point where it's like, he's kind of got some growth. Like maybe when he becomes chief engineer, he becomes a little bit bolder. I don't know. Like, and I'm not talking a character arc. I mean, maybe he just, and also I just want to bring up the fact that I remember what the other thing I forgot was we didn't see Palia at all this episode.
Yes. Oh my God, that was
actually when
yes.
they did the bingo. When they did the bingo, I thought, yeah, that's where she's gonna fucking be. Yeah, and no, it was Chapel instead.
Yes. You know what? That is like it didn't cross my mind at all that she was missing. It wasn't a thought, wasn't a feeling whatsoever. And so what does that say? That you bringing that up now is like, oh shit, yeah, you're right. And that made the episode so much better now that you told me that.
Hey, well, and I mean that's the thing. Like she wasn't in the conference room. Scotty was in the conference room when they were talking about the shore leave, the video package and everything.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't there. And then at the end of the episode, they were in engineering. I'm like, oh, surely this bitch is going to show up. And then she didn't. I was like,
yes. I walked into this.
I couldn't believe it.
I walked into this live stream with this thinking this episode at a 10. You guys were making a good case, starting to bring me down to about a 9. No lower than a 9, maybe about a 9. But then you took me right back to 10. You lost the whole thing. I was almost with you, man. You had me. You're like, let's bring him down a little bit.
If this is a 10 for you, I'm very happy for you. As I said, I hold no ill will to anybody who loved this episode. Keep that in mind. Mm-hmm. If you loved it, great. If you hated it, more great. And guess what? Rick B, he will watch every single goddamn episode of Trek and he will love it because he knows he's going to come on here and do his little trolley thing. So guess what? He's here and he's doing his little trolley thing. So guess what? You know what? Whatever. That's one more view for Kirk's Trek.
My new hobby has been rage baiting.
Oh, nice.
I was hoping that maybe if Pelia Paella, what the fuck her name is, I
don't even care what her name is.
Hocus Pocus for me. But regardless, I was hoping if she ended up on the planet, it would have cleared her throat.
No, I think I like what Rick B said. If Palia went on the planet, she would have been she would have just been normal. Like it would have just been
Daniel
her.
Vance, I think, said that.
Yeah, that's what Daniel Vance said that earlier. He's like, yeah, I think if Palia went on the planet, she'd just be herself. And I'm like,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm so happy that you pointed that out. Like, dude, I mean, if I want to hug you, I've got a passport. I can leave country, fly out, give you a big hug. They probably wouldn't let me back into the country though if I left. And
wait, who are you going to hug?
America. You want to hug me?
Zam pointed out that Pelia wasn't in this.
That was me.
Oh shit. Well, okay.
Quit trying to misappropriate my answers.
I don't know what it like. I guess it was such good news that it broke my brain, and I don't even recall who was saying it. So yeah,
I'll give Rick B that little inch. He'll take a mile out of it.
I'm gonna hop in the truck. I'd be up there like 4 hours. Traffic should be all right going through the major cities up to you. It's not rush hour, and give you that big old hug, and then drive back.
All right, I love it. I'll meet you halfway.
Yeah.
Listen, I've always wanted to hug a Cisco.
That's right. Have you hugged your Cisco today?
I love Daniel Vance's question about if Scotty was at the helm. when the shuttle crashed on the Dyson sphere. That's good stuff.
And by the way,
Yeah,
this
right?
same
Let's
Scotty,
headcanon that is his 8th shuttle crash.
but this is the same guy who will have to end up being third in charge of the Enterprise at some point. Let's remember that as well.
Well,
Oh,
yeah. So
He's got good points, Zam, but people do change. But I see your point about it being
Having
such an
something-
extreme change and so
Yeah,
fast.
it's a 180 change for me. Like that's what.
can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Can I tell you something? And I'm not just throwing hyperbole. I have literally witnessed a 180 change in that number of years in a person. So the reason that I'm saying that that could be possible is because I've like literally saw it, literally lived it, and to be perfectly honest with you, it's weird. It's actually very strange to know someone that you see that 180. I think if you have the opportunity, well, it's not an opportunity, but if you somehow know someone to where you can take 5 or 6 year separation and say this person is absolutely unrecognizable today than they were 5 years ago, or 6 years ago, 7. As odd as it sounds, I'm telling you, and I'm not making it up. It is very odd, but it is certainly very possible, and it's mind bending. If any of you think about it, maybe there's not many people that have seen this, but I can assure you, big change. And like I know what went into a lot of it, and hold on, I'm reading more Rick B bullshit. Okay. It was my second ex-wife, and we met in 2009, 2010, and
Sorry, Jefferson. Excuse the tangent. I do apologize. We can't go on that for too long. I just want to say I am an ex-drug addict. Yeah, and
Yeah.
Cheeto knows that. He knew me when I was just getting high all the fucking time.
Mhm.
And but Sam, you're a
Well, no,
completely different person.
Yeah, but no, hold on. But let me finish. But
You really
let me
are.
finish. I'm saying that I visualize and live through a 180 change of a person. So it's not outside of the realm of possibility. It's not that for 30 years you're the same person, same elements. It is certainly very possible that within a span of some amount of time that somebody could 180. So that's what I'm saying.
But
is
we're
it
talking
is
about somebody who doesn't drink to being a drinker. We're talking about somebody who's in his shell to come
Sure.
out and now being out of his shell. Somebody
You know
who
what
doesn't
happened
like
in
to
5
fight,
years?
who
I went
likes-
from being a drinker to not being a drinker. Would you look at me 5
but-
years ago and be like, no, that's
I
not
mean,
Jefferson at all?
I'm talking about somebody from not being a drinker to being a drinker. That's the opposite way around. Talking about somebody who doesn't like to fight, who likes to fight. Somebody who you would never put in charge of anything. But within 5 years, you make him third in charge of the Enterprise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Within 5 years, Scott, that's massive.
Sure.
When you look at all the current, the people there, like maybe Uhura deserves that more. If anything, but I don't know. I mean, anyway. Look, me and you, we could go back and forth on this all day. So let's move.
I was
on.
about to say, I don't think either of you given
Yeah.
any. I was about to say, I think both of
They're
you
not
have
gonna give
elements
an
of being
inch.
right, but I also think both of you have elements of being wrong. So it's like,
I-
me and
yeah,
Mage,
you're
me
right.
and Mage are the only two that are right in this whole situation. So go us, Mage. High five.
We have
Right.
me on one end with elements of being right and wrong, Zam on one end with elements of being right and wrong, and asshole Rick right in the middle, or whatever.
Rick just he just trolls. He
Stop
has
making
he has no
excuses for
purpose.
this rubbish, Jefferson. Okay, I'm going to stop giving him attention.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's
Yep,
what
that's
I
what
was
he
thinking
wants.
earlier. I'm like, I'm just giving.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
He's like a
This
2-year-old. You give him the
Giant
attention. You just let him scream and kick. It'll,
You're dead to me.
stop.
Like in this episode, when we got certain moments with our characters, when we saw them in certain elements, it just wasn't really. I don't know. Like every time they use Pike in some, they have to make him a bit weird at some particular point. In this case, like they did all the fucking tattoo shit and stuff, and they made Leon into a bloody martial arts instructor. And at the very end, Chapel doing bingo and all of that, and wanted
That
to
was
start a
fun.
fight with some old aliens. I don't know.
Them ladies were gonna fight. You don't mess with old ladies in their bingo. That's some smoke you really got to think about.
You really don't want it. What do we think about the doctor slinging drinks?
Oh yeah, I forgot about Benega doing the. Well, you know what? It was terrible because he knew that he was failing in probably real life because they had to do so many edits and cuts. Like he would throw the bottle in the air, and then next thing you know, we see some arm with catching a bottle. That that was really him doing that shit. You know, Tom Cruise when he did the movie Cocktail, he really fucking made an effort to be able to fucking juggle bottles of whiskey and shit like that.
Yeah, but there's a difference between episodes and movies. Let's like I know.
And
I get what you're saying, Zam. I get what you're saying because I mean remember Sebastian Stan during the fight scenes in Winter Soldier, and he literally had to learn how to flip the knife. Just for that one shot of him pulling the knife out and just flipping it. He said he walked around his house with a butter knife for like days on end, just flipping
for one
it
fucking shot that could have been cut for as much as he knows.
So I mean, I get what you mean, but it's also a television show, like so it's different. But I get what you mean. Like, dedicate a little bit to the craft, please. If you're gonna do it,
a little bit to the it's just that like I don't know, like maybe they could just edit it in a way that it just didn't look awful. Like no, I'm not impressed by this whatsoever. This doesn't look cool or. Ooh, look at him juggling the alcohol. No, I mean, none of that. You know what I mean? It was just shit. It was just
the worst part of that was just, for me, it was forgettable. I mean, I don't know. I think Mbenga. I feel like he's just been not. I feel like he hasn't done anything this
utilized.
Season. Yeah, he's very underutilized. Like, I mean, you've got to gear up for Mbenga to step down as chief medical officer and bring in Bones. You know what I mean? Like
they overlap even in TOS. Remember?
No, they do overlap. I know, but I'm just saying, like him stepping down as chief medical officer and Bones coming in, like they could be building towards that because Bones is supposed to be in next season. He signed on for season 5, so it's like. We there should be some movement here with him, unless in this episode he becomes an alcoholic, and then and then all of a sudden that starts to spiral down to when he has to step down.
I think the last time we saw Benega have an episode of his own was when he killed that Klingon, who looked like Uncle Phil, but it wasn't Uncle Phil, but he looked like Uncle Phil.
Yep.
But he's. I think that he's one of those characters, and we've seen characters certainly throughout Star Trek where, for whatever reasons, there are ones that somehow ended up lending themselves more to being able to be utilized more and have more episodes around them. Then you have some that are like your mid-tier. Yeah, they can carry some episodes, but you don't want to spend too much time on them because you don't really have a lot of material. And then you have your what was the name of the chief engineer in season 1? The Andorian
Hemmer.
Right.
Yeah,
then you have your Hemmers where it's like you get boxed into a corner so damn fast that you have nothing. Like, and it's just.
I loved Hemmer. I'd love to have him.
I think it's
a brilliant character.
I think it's bad luck. I think it can be the writing, the acting, the character, the story. Some characters just turn out writing better, and some you can't overutilize it. For example, I'll give you a perfect example. All these people, all these Star Trek fans that want a Worf series are wrong. You're wrong. No, you don't want a Worf series. No, you don't want a Captain Worf series. Whatever Worf series, you don't. Here's why. Worf has been utilized like perfectly. Whoever's there must be some, like, an omnipotent being looking at how much Worf is used and knows just how much, and is found that perfect balance, because Worf is certainly is a character that once you get on that perfect balance, you might think that you want a whole series, but no, you don't, because then what happens is, if you throw that whole balance off kilter and you have a whole show, he doesn't care, a show he does not carry. Okay, Worf is great, but think about how he's been used, how often he's been used, and the way he's been used, and then collate all of Worf appearances and stories, and really look at the data and say, can I take that? And then he's the lead for a whole series. And I really think, if you really think about it, you're going to say, no, you know what? Jefferson is right. He's a perfect balance, and he could very easily get overutilized fast and get old. I mean, a Worf 10-episode series might be great, like the first 2-3 episodes, but that's a steep slope. I just think that he's a character that could slope off real fast. So, yeah, you don't.
I never wanted a Worf series, by the way. I can't speak for everyone else. I was never part of that contingent.
Okay, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know. I mean, like what we got from Picard. You know what? I don't. I think.
Please no.
No, I mean, like no. Picard made me realize you shouldn't have series based around one particular character, no matter who they are.
Oh wow! Hard to
and the thing was, so if you got that opinion about Patrick Stewart playing Jean-Luc Picard, think about what your opinion might be for any other character.
It wasn't until they got the band back together again in season 3 that it was good, because it felt like TNG one more time. So. But anyway, let's get back to this episode. Yeah.
All right.
I think I'm the only fan on Earth that didn't love it, but I digress. Do we want to talk about Act 2 real quick, where they hunt down the shuttlecraft?
We weren't even on Act 2.
No, sir.
I'm sorry. I totally, yeah. All right, Act 2.
Yeah,
got
also, yeah, forgettable.
Yeah,
I don't know what to even make of it. Like when they finally found it, like, well, how did they find it? They had to get Leon to help find it, wasn't it?
No,
they had to get Spock to mind meld with the plant.
Yeah, that was
God.
That was
Oh my God. Yeah, this is amazing, Jefferson. He had to mind meld with a fucking plant. Oh my God.
You didn't like that?
No, that was dumb.
The photosynthesis fucking race or whatever. What? Jesus Christ.
Maybe I just woke up in a better mood today.
I was looking forward to it. I was like, okay, I'm ready to watch Star Trek. I was like, looking forward to it. But now, now I've seen 3 episodes of stuff that's been done before, but better. I'm starting to this season is starting to worry me a little bit. I mean, like I said, we've got the Muppet Show coming up soon, so.
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
I'm so dreading that. I feel like the good aspect to the Spock plot was the growth with him and Kirk, and the building of that friendship and that bond. That's so iconic and so core to the original series. What was that, Sam?
With him, Kirk fucking with Spock was probably one of the best parts.
Yeah.
I told
this episode.
So much.
That was great. I told you everything. The look of horror on his face.
I know, right? Like for a guy who's not supposed to emote, man, he emoted that. He
emoted the hell out of that. Yes, yeah, he sure did.
He was still influenced by the atmosphere.
Yeah, we got the title of the episode in that scene too. The human best friend joke.
Yeah, I love how they kind of, it's really weird. They named this episode after like a B plot of the, you know what I mean? Like, you
Mhm.
figure that the title should be about the A plot, but like they I guess they feel like Scotty and Ortega's can't carry the weight of an episode title, so they had to do the B plot.
Well, look,
That's
this
safe
is another thing.
thing to do, I
Sorry,
think.
this is another thing I'm not buying already. Like, yeah, they can be pals and stuff, but they're on different fucking ships, so they're all of a sudden they're best friends and stuff. If anything, Spock's best mate is more likely to be Pike. You know, if anything,
Well,
but him being best mates with Kirk, it just doesn't feel earned at this particular moment because they're not working together. They're on different ships.
here's the problem, though. The problem with that, though, is
Kirk's always on the Enterprise. Oh no,
Yeah, they have plenty of time to get to know each
the
other.
problem is, though, I think part of it is Kirk and Spock are closer in age and rank than between Spock and Pike, and even though they are friends, and
Best
Spock is loyal to
friends.
Pike and all of that, the thing is that Spock is lieutenant right now, and Pike's a captain. So regardless of anything, you're still talking lieutenant commander. Three ranks ahead. It only goes so far. Think about, have any of you guys seen A Few Good Men? Any of you guys seen A Few Good
Yeah.
Men?
Mhm.
Do you remember the scene? So Colonel Jessup is sitting there talking to the major dude, like his second in command, gray hair guy with the glasses, and they were getting into it with Kiefer Sutherland's character, and then he left. And then Nicholson's character was like, we were in war together, served in Nam together or something, or like we've known each other forever, really good friends, stuff like that or whatever. But I fucking outrank you. Don't ever like kind of. It was something. It was you. I'd have to watch the scene. Watch the scene if you got a chance to watch A Few Good Men. But it was like one of those things where, yes, even though they were great friends, maybe best friends or whatever, it can take one difference in rank for someone to have that ability to say, we're great friends, we go way back, but I am your commanding officer. Don't ever fucking backtalk me again.
Yeah, that was the same in TOS though. Like Kirk outranked Spock even in TOS, didn't he? But Spock still called Kirk Jim now and again.
Yeah, I mean, my only thing is that if Kirk was an illusion, this would be the second week in a row that Spock has been having illusions, because it was his ex last month or last week. You know what I mean? So it's like, like, I'm glad he was actually there. That honestly made me happy that he was actually there, because I was like, we're doing this again this week. What about the end? Let's talk about the bomb really quick, because we got to wrap soon.
Yeah, talk about the bomb.
What was that all about? I don't get it. Like, how was that incorporated into
fireworks.
the plot?
Oh man.
Yeah, then it was fireworks. Like,
the throwaway line at the end about it was something like it was terrorists or something, and it's just they spent zero time explaining that aspect of the episode. What the part that would have been the meat and potatoes of an old school Star Trek episode, was handled in about 5 minutes of total time. And that's what I mean about it not being a Star Trek episode, because there was so much there of what would traditionally be the meat and potatoes. Go ahead, Sam.
It was a bomb that was like a mine, because the moment he held it, he couldn't fucking let go of it. And I kept thinking to myself, transporter, surely that would work.
He even said that they couldn't transport the material because it was unstable.
Because of the reactive casing.
And honestly, like, I knew that they were going to make it. They gave it to Scotty. Look, if you at least want to create some tension, give the bomb to Erica.
Yes.
Because you don't know if she survives or not. And I get it, this is a different universe, so they could do anything. But I'm like, I wasn't fearful at all. Like, if you wanted me to actually fear for Ortega's, or fear for anybody, give it to Ortega's, and I'd be like, oh shit, is this when she goes? And I don't know if she dies. I don't know if she gets transferred. I don't know if she goes off and does something else with Starfleet. Like, we don't know. We don't know any of those answers. That's why it's like, and they're going to resolve it by the end of season 5. So, But that's where I'm like, oh shit, like maybe this is why this episode is dedicated primarily to her, is because this is her last episode or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's a bad
Also,
episode
like
to go out on,
the
but
story. Sorry, but the storyline as well regarding having to do this diplomatic shit with this alien race, like it just didn't weave in well with everything else. Like, you know, I didn't. I just thought it was all poorly executed. You know, it was very hard to grasp everything that was going on. It was just shit.
They rushed the
yeah,
explanation
yeah.
parts of everything.
Yeah.
Uh,
I actually agree with
I
Daniel.
get-
He says Ortegas is going to stay in another timeline like Yar. Mark my words. I mean, you know what? That I wouldn't put it past them because they probably won't have the balls to kill her off. I mean, I'm
No.
sorry. Like, listen, do I want Ortegas? Did I know? But that's the point. Is like,
It looked like they killed. Yeah, last season I thought she was dead. She had
Yeah.
a fucking thing go right through her body, right through the middle of her body. I thought, okay, they killed her off like they did with Hammer at the beginning of season 3, but no, she's back. You know,
all right.
So
Good,
we
mate.
had Ortegas and Scotty kind of made up and had their scene on the shuttle at the end where that really cements their friendship, and that felt a little rushed and forced to me. Don't know about you others. Jefferson
why did
probably
they?
thought was okay.
What? I'm sorry. What part of it? Oh,
Friendship.
the rushed ending.
The rushed ending, yeah, with them on the transporter pad and then going to the shuttle.
Yeah. So here's what I think about that. It reminds me of movies like Office Space, Napoleon Dynamite, and several others where the movie is good. It's fine. It's okay. It just, how do you end it? Like, we don't know how to end it. It's like one of those things. Like, we need to find a way to be able to end this movie. There's not a bad guy. There's not a villain. There's not a meeting or this or that or whatever. And that's what that kind of reminded me of, is that there needs to be a way to end this movie. What's the end goal? In the Hangover, the goal was they had to find their friend and get him to his wedding, and that's how you could end the movie. Was you had a deadline, you had something to do. That was how they ended this episode. You have to have a reason to end what's happening, and which is, we've got a meeting we've got to get ready for and have the meeting.
Intoxicated.
Right.
Yeah.
Got a day drink before our staff meeting.
I just think the
All right.
thing with Scotty and Ortegas, it felt a bit like, okay, we're friends all along. Like, even if you didn't need to, like, in a way, cement that. Like, they could always be buddies to a degree. Like, no, but like Spock and Bones, like, they banter all the time, but they're friends. But maybe it could be a bit more like Tuvok and Neelix. Maybe the relationship's more like that. I don't know.
Definitely something to think about. So why do we want to give it marks wise? I'll start with let's go anti-clockwise. Start with Zam. End with me.
Okay, there were a couple of moments that made me laugh in this comedy episode, but like I said before, you got to not insert yourself as a comedy episode. You just have to make the comedy happen. And like I said, when you're doing a show like this, it needs to be more smart than whimsical, quirky. I didn't appreciate it. And the smart comedy, like I said, Spock saying that his room's untidy, stuff like that. I appreciate that. It's clever. But I don't appreciate this episode whatsoever. I'm not liking the direction of this season. Now, after this being the third episode, and we have another copy of something that's done before, I'm going to give this episode, I was thinking a 2, but I'm going to give this a very, very generous 3 out of 10.
Okay. Jefferson.
I walked in 10. I was on a high cloud, thinking I thoroughly enjoyed this episode, and I came flying down the stairs to get online was feeling that 10. Then you guys were shitting in my Wheaties. Were kind of about had me talked down to a 9. I was seeing some reason, seeing some logic. Maybe thinking maybe I'm wrong. But then once Cheeto reminded us that Pelia was not in this episode, then I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. You shot me back up to that 10 so freaking fast. It was crazy. So
I mean, look, you might as well go off of Rick B's recommendation, make it an 11 out of 10. I mean,
I'm not going to give you the satisfaction.
Yeah, right. Give it a 12.
There you go. Anything to disagree with Rick B?
Right?
Yeah.
All right, Tito, mark it.
I'm actually right there with Zam. That's what I was thinking from the very beginning. I was going to give it a 3. There were only just a few minor points that I actually enjoyed. I was watching my phone half the time. I've been watching Strange New Worlds with my girlfriend. This is the first new Trek that me and her are getting to enjoy together. Like, we've been watching old stuff, but like this is the first new Trek that she's ever been able to see with me this season. And I mean, yes, she did enjoy the episode, but like, for me, I was looking at my clock. I was looking at my phone. I was over the Scotty Ortega's dynamic in the beginning. I like the later Ortega's and Scotty stuff. That's a part of the mark that I have that actually brought it up a little bit. Yeah, like I don't know. It didn't feel good. It didn't feel right. And it didn't feel like Star Trek at all. And listen, I'm not sitting here saying every Trek has to be, as you said, Jefferson, board meetings and Zoom calls to Romulans and, like space theoretical. But this just felt, like Zam said, this just felt very hand-fisty. This is the comedy episode. Be prepared to laugh, especially with that, like, that promo thing that the guy was doing in the beginning. Like, at that point, I knew, I'm like, oh, they're just trying, like, they're gonna force feed us humor now at this point.
The fine print bit on the commercial.
And I'm like, and I don't know. I really had it. Maybe on second viewing, maybe I'll enjoy it a little bit better. But I only had a chance to watch it once. So Mage, on to you.
I enjoyed it a lot the first time, but even then I was like, this is a good episode of TV, but this isn't a good episode of Star Trek. On rewatch, I enjoyed it even less. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10 though, because if it hadn't been Trek, I was laughing. If it hadn't been a Trek episode, I would have enjoyed it more, I feel like. But
if this would have been an episode of Lower Decks,
vibe check. Yes, there you go, Cheeto.
If it would have been an episode of Lower Decks, it would have been fine.
Someone please shoot me in the face.
Never.
You got to come here and give me that hug first.
Fine. I'll give you the hug first and then just right in the face. I don't care.
It'll take me a few years until I'm eligible to get a gun if I'm in England.
Well, we don't trust you, Brits, with guns.
Yeah, it'll be a few years before we'd let you into this country, much less have a gun.
Yeah, if I'll be let.
Look at his skin tone. I don't think they're ever going to let him in.
He ain't coming in here.
Yeah, man, I've spoken out against Israel. I've spoken out against Trump. They ain't fucking letting me in anytime soon, dude.
Right. That's same here. That's why I'm not keen on leaving. I might not be able to get back in.
All right, Mage. So, take us home.
Zam?
Mage, Mage. Take us home to the end of the stream.
All right. I want to thank everybody who held it down in chat. I want to thank my co-host, Cousin Cheeto, Zam, and Jefferson Kelly. Thank you all so much for being here. Zam, what do we have coming down the pipe for the fine people here at NerdTube?
It might be a little bit quiet. This might be a little bit quiet other than some of the usual stuff that we have going on, obviously, like Dark Side of the Ring. But I did see Supergirl today, and I'll give you my quick review. It's all right. Nothing special.
Right.
You know what I mean? Very, very average, run-of-the-mill. All right.
Yeah,
we do have a fan film reaction coming out tomorrow. We're doing a Star Wars fan film reaction. So watch out for that. It's coming out tomorrow around midday in the States. So early evening for the
actually, Cheetah, give it a little bit more detail because we've done part 1 of this, so they might want to see our fan film reaction of part 1 before seeing part 2.
That's true. I mean? Okay, so we did Vader episode 2, Echoes of the Jedi. The first part we did 4 years ago. If you go on our fan film reaction playlist and you put in Echoes, or no, I'm sorry, Vader, it'll be one of the ones that pops up, and it's Vader episode 1. Was it something of the past?
Echoes of
Shards of the past, or something like that.
Something like
So that's
that,
episode 1. That's already out. We reviewed it 4 years ago. And then episode 2 just came out recently, and we decided this. So it was recommended by Zam's cousin, right, or nephew?
Nephew. My nephew recommended it to me. He said he really liked it, and so I thought, okay, let's review it. And I'm glad he did, because we did the first part, so we might as well do the second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So anyway, but that's coming out tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, a little bit quiet. I mean, we've been doing Dark Side of the Ring every week. And I think that's kind of it, really. I mean,
by the way, I do recommend watching the Renegade episode, just without whether you watch our review or not. That Renegade episode, if you know anything about wrestling, that's a great episode, by the way. I highly recommend it.
I actually haven't had a chance to watch it. I do plan on watching it, but
it's a good one. If you know, a period of time when we were watching wrestling, so you'll go right, you'll get right into it. It's good stuff.
All right, so plenty of reasons for you to smash the bell icon so you never miss a video or live stream here at NerdTube, because you've been watching the best social media channel that you maybe